Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Wise here. Today we're going to be talking about a concept that we're doing in math. This is our second lesson and we are talking about comparing whole numbers. So we'll probably compare up to about 6 digits and we're going to explore some place value models to compare our numbers today. So Model 1. We're going to start out with this model right here. When we have two numbers, we're going to start looking at the number with the digit that has the greatest value. So if we look at this number, it's 300, and we look at this number, it's 350. So first of all, looking at our place value chart, we know we've got the ones place, the tens place, and the hundreds place. So if we look at these numbers, we are going to start comparing them with the digit that has the greatest value. So the digits with the greatest value in each of these numbers is the 3. So I'm just going to underline that. The 3's would both be in the hundreds place, and they're both the same. So in order to compare these numbers, we look at that and we say, well, they're both the same. So now we're going to move to the next digit that has a little bit less value, which would be in the tens place. So we see that we've got a 0 here on the 300, and if we look at the 350, we've got a 5. We know that the 5 is greater than the 0. So this is 5 tens, the value is 50, and here we have 0 tens. So we know that the value of this number is greater than the value of this number. Now, in the past, and I know when I was in school, I was very confused about the greater than, less than sign. And students have always talked about, oh, it's an alligator, or one's eating the other one with the big mouth and the little mouth. And I was very confused. So actually, a student taught me this trick, and I think it's genius, so I want to share it with you. So when you're looking at both of these numbers, and you decide which one is the largest, when we make our place value sign, or the greater than, less than sign, I like to make 2 dots, because remember 2 is greater than 1. So with the number that is greater, I make 2 dots, and next to the number that is less than this number, I just make 1 dot. And then we simply do dot to dot. So I'm going to fill this in, and I've got my greater than, less than sign. So this tells me that 350 is greater than 300. Okay? Looking at these two numbers, sometimes we might use the greater than, less than sign, and then sometimes we might use the equal sign as well. And let's look at this. In the hundreds place, we're checking hundreds place, it's the same. Tens place, it's the same. And ones place, it's the same. So here, we're going to use the equal sign. Okay? So when we compare two numbers, we might use the greater than, less than sign, or they might be equal as well. All right? Let's move over here to our place value chart. So with our place value chart, I like to start with the number with the in the ones column. So we've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. We know that the 10,000s is the greatest, has the greatest value when we're looking at our place value chart. When we compare two numbers, especially larger numbers, we've got two 5-digit numbers here, we want to look at the digit with the greatest value. And those digits happen to be in the 10,000s place with these numbers. So let's take a look at these. We've got a 2 and a 2 in the 10,000s place. So comparing those, we know those are the same. So let's move to the number that is not as great as 10,000s, which is thousands. So now we're in the thousands place, and we have a 3 and a 3. So we know that those are the same. We're going to move to the hundreds place. So notice that we're moving from left to right on the place value chart. So we're moving from the digit with the greatest value to the digit with the least value. So now we're in the hundreds place, and with this first number we have a 6, and the second number we have a 9. So by looking at these two numbers and comparing them, we can see that this number is greater, because in the hundreds place, 9 is greater than 6. Okay? So it doesn't really matter what any of the rest of these digits are, because in the hundreds place, we've got a 9, and then we have a 6 6 and we know 9 is greater. So we don't even have to look at these other numbers, we can just compare. So tell you what, I'm gonna write these numbers. And we know that this number was greater than this number because of the hundreds place. So we have a 6 and we have a 9. Because we know this number is greater, I'm going to make 2 dots here, 1 dot here, and simply connect the dots, okay? 23,987 is greater than 23,643. All right, the next model shows numbers that are written in expanded form. Now we've been using standard form with the numbers that we've already previously looked at. So let's look at these numbers that are written in expanded form. We've got 23,643. And here we have 23,987. They're written in expanded form. So let's do the same thing that we did with our place value chart. And let's first, hey guys, I'm back. I guess there was a little glitch with the video. So let's continue. I think we were talking about model number 3. So on model number 3, all kinds of glitches. We're going to talk about using the place value chart with numbers that are written in expanded form. These numbers are written in expanded form, and we're going to do the same thing that we did up here, looking at the numbers with the greatest value first, or moving from left to right. So let's check the number in the 10,000s place. We've got 20,000 here, and they're both the same. So we're going to move to the right. We're moving over here to the number that has the next least greater value, which is the thousands. So we're looking at the number in the thousands place. We've got 3,000, and each of these numbers has the 3, just like our chart up here. When we move to the numbers in the hundreds place, again, we have 600, just like we did here, and then the 900 like we did here. We know that 900 is greater than 600, so we know now that this number is greater than this number, just like we compared up here. All right, and let's move over here, boys and girls. I'm going to stand right here. We are familiar with base 10 blocks. I'm sure you saw those in 3rd grade. And first of all, just to clarify, when I make models, my models don't look perfect and yours don't need to be either. These represent, I call them a flat, and they're worth 100. These I call a skinny, and they're worth 10. The value is 10. And these are bits, and they're worth 1. Okay, so we've got a flat, skinnies, and bits. And here we've got 1 flat, which represents 100. We have 3 skinnies, which would be 3 tens, or 30. And here we have 2 bits, which represents 2. So 132. Here we've got 1 flat, so 100. We have 2 skinnies, which is 20, or 2 tens. And here we have 3 ones. So 132, again, we can compare by place value. So if we look at the hundreds, we have a 1 and a 1. If we look at the tens, we've got a 3 and a 2. And I'm going to use my colored marker for this. We know that 3 is larger than 2, so we know that 132 is larger than 123. Let's compare those here. We know that this number is greater than this number, and again, I draw my 2 dots and 1 dot, and I simply connect the dots, and I just use the greater than, less than sign to compare these 2